Hey girls, hold on. Listen up. It's time for A Girl's Perspective, the podcast where girls speak up. Our organization, Know Better to Do Better, is the movement that empowers girls with personal, social, and leadership skills, equipping us for a brighter future. Girls, get ready to speak up because here's our host, the founder of Know Better to Do Better, Paula Bond.
Hey everybody, welcome. So glad that you joined us here. I'm Paula Bond, and our organization is called Know Better to Do Better. At Know Better to Do Better, we teach personal, social, and leadership skills to girls. We just think it's the most important job. Outside of academics, the next most important thing that you could share with your children and make sure that they're up to speed in is the social skills. Absolutely. This will allow them to go as far as they want in life, and it will also really just build confidence. And so we do call the skills that we teach confidence building skills. Well, we're going to talk today about education. This is a really, really important show today. I know you're going to be so glad that you listened. We have here an expert, and she's an educator. And the topic of today's show is called Smart Girls Win. But my question becomes, are the girls and the young guys who are smart always the ones that stand out? You know, do they shy away from their smartness and their potential? So when we come back from the break, you are going to meet Nicole Suber, who is an educator who has been doing her thing really well there at 59th Street Elementary School here in Los Angeles. You're going to hear so much more. Smart Girls Win right after this. Hi, it's Paula Bond, founder of Know Better to Do Better and author of the book, Social Media, Say Hello to Social Skills. Parents, do you ever struggle with what's appropriate and safe for your daughter when it comes to social media and the internet? Well, Mom and Dad, we got your back. Social Media, Say Hello to Social Skills is the book every parent should read and share with your tween-aged daughter prior to giving her a device connected to the internet and without parental controls. Parents, it's time you and your 11 to 14-year-old daughter mastered social media through a healthy dose of social skills. Her bright future may depend on it. Order your book today at our website, knowbettertodobetter.org. That's know with a K, knowbettertodobetter.org. Social media, say hello to social skills. All righty, Nicole Suber, thank you so much for being here with us. And we've done shows before. I don't know if this one airs first or the other one. But we have your lovely Naomi Suber here with us. And Naomi joined us for a show where we talked about stereotypes in reality TV. Okay. Really important issue. Okay. Another super important issue, though, is do smart girls win? I say that they do, but do smart girls win? And even before they get to be smart women, they've got to be girls that are on track doing their thing. So here's my question. Do people try and hide their smarts, especially young people, and particularly girls of color?
Unfortunately, we do. We have the tendency in our community where our culture and education don't always meld together very well. So it's the first time our children become in trouble.
Yes.
It's that place where they learn that what they're doing is not necessarily right or what they're doing is not necessarily acceptable. So education sometimes clashes with the Black culture. And because of that, we do have students who want to hide when they're good at it. Because then you're not the cool kids, because the cool kids are the rebellious ones, the ones who get in trouble, whose names are called all the time. And so it's about third grade where you see girls, and kindergarten and first grade, they're ready. They're so eager to show the teacher what they know. And then something switches where, well, my friends won't play with me because I know all the answers and they don't. And so our top and our biggest and our brightest have a tendency to kind of hide in the shadows. In fact, there's a really good book, if anybody wants to know, called Bright, Talented, and Black, and it's a guide to families of gifted children, and it's written by Joy Lawson Davis. And in that book, she discusses how our top tier students in terms of intellectual abilities have a tendency to be the lowest performing because they just don't want to show their ability, and oftentimes other students can't relate to them.
Naomi, you're a smart girl. I have to presume you've always been smart. So then tell me how you dealt with that phase.
Luckily for me, I was placed into a gifted magnet, so I guess everyone around me was smart, or not even smart, but they were smart kids. So luckily we weren't necessarily made fun of or teased for being smart. But I've seen like in other cases where because you're the smart kid, you're called like the teacher's pet or just things like that because you know what's going on. I feel like a lot of the teasing can definitely stem from jealousy of the other kids because like they want to be able to be smart and they want to be able to get things right, and because it's not sticking for them, it causes frustration and that can cause some tension. But like as a third grader, nobody's looking at it like that, and definitely as a younger kid, nobody's seeing it, reading into it as that. So like
I mean, I'm glad you continued though. You pushed through it. You so then, Nicole, are Black students performing at their highest potential? Why or why not?
They're really not. She might not remember, but she came home one day and was like, all I am is smart. Yeah. And she was so frustrated in that because oftentimes as African Americans, we want the sports kid or the singer or the dancer and she can do all those things, but it wasn't her level of expertise. It wasn't where she flourished the most. And academia is where she was the standout. And it was difficult for her because oftentimes you're the only one on that stage.
So with that being said, it sounds like parents then have a great deal to do with how their children come through that phase.
Yes.
What do you encourage parents to do when she comes home and collapses in your arms and says, I'm only just smart?
Yeah, well.
What do you do? How do you keep her moving through that?
And that goes back to your question. Do they underachieve? And they do. And that's when we have to, sometimes we have to let our kids kind of fail a little bit. I know it sounds crazy, but it's okay if they get a B. You know what I'm saying? Because we know our smart child can get an A. But in other cultures, they always tell the kids, don't overwork, and we always go, our kids have to be extra above and beyond. And it's true, but the pressure, they're still human. So we have a lot of societal pressures because we always have to be better than and more than. So we have to sometimes allow our kids, it's okay to kind of get that B and then move on from there. Because if you know that they can do better, but you don't allow them to recognize it's themselves, they won't do better for themselves. And so, yes, they tend to underperform, but we have to look at them as a child as opposed to a student. When you're the parent.
When you're the parent. Now, good. That brings us to a great point because you're her parent, but you're also an educator. Please talk to me a little bit about yourself as an educator. What have you been doing? How long have you been teaching?
So I've been doing it for 24 years. It doesn't feel that long. It's something I wanted to do all my life. When I was a child, I told my mom I wanted to be a teacher, and she said, okay, well, there was this lady named Mary McLeod Bethune, and I did a whole report on her. My mom was big on making sure I saw African American people that did the things that we were interested in. And so I've been doing it. I don't know anything. She and I were just talking the other day, like, Mom, would you do anything else? And I'm like, I probably could make money, a lot of money doing other things, but my heart wouldn't be in it. And I also think it's truly my gift. It's what I've been blessed to do. It's what I've been put on this earth to do. We're given gifts in teaching. I've been blessed to have that gift.
So keeping that in mind, because you are with our children for hours every day, what is it that you wish most would happen when you send children back home to their parents? What is it that parents could do at home that would prepare them and make their children better when they come back to school the next day?
Talk to them. Have conversations with them. I do not like homework. I'm the advocate.
Want to be your student.
I've been trying to remove homework out of the equation for a long time, so that the homework assignments I do give, one of them is movie nights. Thursdays movie nights. Go home and watch a movie with your parents, and then talk to them. Who were the characters? What part of the movie did you like? I think what we had in the past that we don't have now was a lot of oral traditions, where a lot of stories were told about our past, a lot of conversations. I sit and I listen to our children who simply just cannot articulate a simple thought because there's not a lot of conversation in the home.
But conversation must start early. I mean, we all see the commercials that sort of first 5, and it says, talk, sing, read to your children. Is this what you did with Naomi? And you have how many children?
I have 4. I have
you
4
and your
children.
husband. You have a wonderful husband.
Thank you.
You all have 4 children.
We have 4 children. Yes, I have a 16-year-old, I have a 15-year-old, I have a 13-year-old, and I have an 11-year-old. And it goes girl, boy. And
we were just talking about how you were reading me Harry Potter.
Oh yes,
yeah. But it was I wasn't even born yet.
Yes, so I've been reading to her literally since she's been in my womb. I read chapter books to them. Some of my favorites was like The Phantom Tollbooth when they were in, I think, 2nd grade.
Yeah.
So I read literature way above and beyond them. But I also was not the person, I always tell my friends, don't put the flashcards on the baby's wall in the bathroom. Like, let the baby go to the bathroom. It's okay, But I mean, sometimes we have to for our children because we do have to be above and beyond. And I'm hoping that one day that we can look past these that race doesn't exist, but we have to realize that, and that there is culture, and that race does not equal culture, so that all Black people are not the same, all of these people are not the same.
That's right.
And that when we start looking at our cultures and we start respecting all of our cultures, because even within the Black community, we have a tendency to not respect all of our cultures, and that's why there are some communities where African American children do really well in education, and then others where we're not. Well, unfortunately, it's the majority of us who are not doing well. This last statistic I heard was that in Los Angeles County, I believe 49% of white Americans or white Angelenos have a college degree. I think 37% of the Latinos and 11% African American have college degrees. And then the you might look at this as the beautiful part, where out of those 11%, 63% are women. So African American women are seeking higher education at a higher rate, but where's their counterpart?
Exactly. Where's the counterpart there? Because Naomi needs a wonderful counterpart when she graduates from college and moves on and does great things in her life. We're wrapping up here. So Naomi,
yes,
what is the most sort of either the best or the most memorable thing that your mom and your dad did for you or with you that gave you a love for education?
Definitely reading, because reading was always has just been an escape. Like when I was upset, I would read. I would just be like, I'd be sitting, or I would just read a lot. And definitely the Phantom Tollbooth, because that book is great. And there's this one section of the book, I don't want to give too many spoilers for this. Like they're battling their demons, and their demons are like realistic things like procrastination and like self-doubt and things like that. And just that book, and every time I read it over again, I realize something different as I get older. So definitely just like reading was probably the best thing that made me want to go out and learn more things, because there's books on literally everything. So
It is reading. We hear that, Nicole, this is not new information, but we've got to get it out there. We've got to make it attractive. We need smart young women. We need smart young men. And we need for young people to understand, hey, even the smart ones, I wasn't in that group necessarily, wasn't too far out of it, but we need you to understand that it's okay if you're the smartest one in the room. It's absolutely okay. Trust me, we got a place for you. And let me tell you something, nerds, the smarties, whatever you want to call it, they run the world. Everybody, please keep praying. The Lord is listening. And please do remember, when you know better, you have every opportunity to do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula.
See you next time.
All right.